Alright, this video is showing you some tips on how to change the oil on a BRZ. I'm going to assume you already know how to change the oil. Just some tips how this car is different than other cars. First of all, I try to put my jack underneath it, and I have a pretty low profile jack. Here it is, and you can see it's pretty low, but I use it for other things, and it's pretty low. Well, the BRZ is lower, and there was no real way that I can get it in there, and I could not find a good spot to actually put the jack on that that convinced me that it was safe. So I bought these at Harbor Freight, and basically I just rolled on in there, and it lifts the car up enough where I can get underneath it. So that's tip number one. I don't think I would put a jack underneath this. Tip number one is buy these ramps at Harbor Freight. Okay, I'm underneath the car, and as you can see, this is all plastic, so I wouldn't want to put it there. Here might be a place where you would put the jack, but like I said, I'd rather just put them on these stands. It just makes sense. It's just easier. So that's tip number one. Okay, tip number two. Here is where you take the bolt, I guess, out, and it seems easy enough with a 14 millimeter. The tip I have for you is that when you take that off, the oil comes down quickly, and even though I have a bucket underneath, it almost spills, onto the pavement. So tip number two is be careful, because yes, oil comes down, as soon as you take that bolt off. But for some reason on the BRZ, it really splashed. So you got to be careful, make sure it doesn't splash everywhere. So anyway, that's tip number two. Okay, and here's the last tip. I always get Subaru parts. They're cheap enough at the Subaru dealer. They're a little more expensive, but you see that these are numbered. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the cool thing about that is you're not going to over tighten. So this was in there, and 4 was facing towards me. So I know that when I put it in there, I'm going to tighten it all the way up to 4, and that should be good enough. So that's tip number 3. Okay, one more, a couple more tips. One is I got 0W20 synthetic, and this I got at Walmart, and it's the cheapest place around. I'd like to get it somewhere else, but it was $22, and so if there's a cheaper place, I'd get it there. But it's all synthetic oil. The other thing is, forgot to mention this. This is a crush washer, and I'll show you the part number. Also get it at the Subaru dealer. It's $1, like $2 to $3. So the crush washer goes underneath the oil pan and the bolt, and you're supposed to change it every time. And for $1, $2, it's okay. So one side is flat, and let's see if I can focus in on it. And then the other side, you see it's raised, and like, I don't know, parabolic or elliptical or something. But anyway, one side's flat. This goes against the pan, or your engine, and that other part is where the bolt goes. And sure enough, when you start tightening the bolt, this will crush. You'll feel it like collapse. You're close, and then all you do is you go ahead and tighten it in. So anyway, that's the crush washer. That's what I would suggest to change every time. And then also, there's a little bit of controversy how much oil you're supposed to put in. And some people say if you put in 5.8 quarts that it's too much. And so what I do is I put 5.5 quarts, and then I measure it from there. I don't overfill it. Some people said 5.2. It's probably too not enough. But 5 quarts and a half. That would be the last tip I have. Good luck.